Here's the thing.
Fine. Listen,
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Yeah, so I printed some of the wrong parts. You ever have one of those moments where something just clicks? I couldn't figure out how the mounting plate worked with any kind of touch sensor. There wasn't an arm out to the side anymore, like Gen 5. Now you literally attach the wing to the main body of the Hero Me cage. I've got those new parts printing now. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get the Fystec 300 by 300 millimeter PEI bed installed. We are going to have to cut the magnet sheet down a little bit. You don't have to. I personally want to. The bed itself is advertised, I want to say it 265 by 265, somewhere in the ballpark of that, but it's actually 290 by 290, and I want to try to get as much of that build volume as I can. This is a little overboard, but the other options are the TH3D bed. That's going to run you somewhere in the ballpark of $50 for the plate and the magnetic sheet because they're sold separately. Filament, I also believe, has, it's either filament or Wham Bam. Heck, it may be all three at this point that have options. This is the cheapest of all the options, and I know it'll get the job done. Oh, nuts. All right, now we're gonna clean the bed with, it says 70%, but I've got 99% in here. I just keep reusing the same bottle. Always buy the bigger jugs. You're gonna need a lot of this stuff. Typically get mine off of Amazon. One upgrade I already did off camera because I didn't think about making a video at the time. I was just too excited. Is these silicone bed spacers. I've got them on basically every 3D printer I own. They make life a lot easier. I find that even the stiff springs tend to give out after a while. Well, I say give out. They lose their tension and you have to readjust them and retighten them, and it's a whole headache I don't want to deal with if I don't have to. Now, the real reason everybody came. ASMR with TableTopBiker. And actually, before I start using this, I'm going to take it, hit it with some Dawn dish soap, wash it, clean it, and then I'm going to hit it with some IPA and some of the steel wool, like the really fine 000 or quad 0, whatever it is, steel wool. I find that always helps get really good first layers. So yeah, we're gonna hang off the sides on every side a little bit, but that's okay. One thing a lot of people do, I'm just gonna lift you up here for a minute, is move the extruder up and around here. I've seen people put them on the back, on the other side. I've seen people move all over the place. I opted to just use the mounting bracket that it came with a few T-nuts in the E-track, wow, can you tell I'm a truck driver? In the track here, and it holds pretty good. It holds pretty steady. I'm still using the stock extruder for now. I plan on probably gonna go for a direct drive setup at some point. Let me know if y'all wanna see that. So what I messed up was, let me get the pointer of truth. This back plate has a new design that doesn't incorporate this arm out here that then this wing attaches to for the BlTouch mount. Now, this whole body right here, there are 2 holes on each side, so you can choose left or right, and that's where the wing comes out from. I have those printing right now on my CR10S Pro, and so we should have those soon. For now, we can go ahead and remove the Z-switch. And we're also going to remove this little guy right here. Don't need him anymore. One thing I did want to touch on, this board right here, the red that you see behind the spray board, the spray PCB board, I actually just made this in Tinkercad real quick with the help of the girlfriend, and we got that up and running. One, I'm not a fan of the standoffs that come with the printer as is. 2, this printer was missing them altogether. And so I had to come up with something quick. And honestly, I think it looks way better. And it also protects all of the solder points underneath from accidentally making contact with the frame. I'll probably throw this up on printables at some point for anybody who might want it. All right, so we've got the correct components now. These are what I had originally printed out and tried to use for the HeroMe Gen 6. I was trying to mix with the HeroMe Gen 7. Yeah, so this was the part right here that was going to end up, actually no, I think it was this, yeah. It was this that was hitting the pulley assembly on the left side. This is the new one. There's actually 2 parts here. This is a separate part. I cut that in half from what the original file was. I didn't think it needed to actually be that long. As long as it holds the hot end up a little ways off of the surface. Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, as long as it holds the hot up a little ways off of the surface of the gantry adapter, I think we'll be fine. This is the 2 new pieces. This will fit onto here like so. And then, never even noticed these holes. This will go right here to hold our BlTouch. Yep, right about there. So we're gonna put 2 heat inserts in. Threaded heat inserts are, for those that don't know, are little brass circles. Gosh, I can't get that to focus at all. Little brass circles with threads. These are M3. I got these ones off Amazon. You can get a bunch of different kinds. I just looked for the ones with the smallest overall profile that accepted 3mm screws. You got to be careful with this. I'm not wearing one right now. I need to get new cartridges for my respirator, but anytime you're doing stuff like this, it's a really good idea to wear a respirator, because just like printing ASA, melting it with the soldering iron is not good for you. So I'm going to do this left-handed, which is weird for me, but that will be fine. Get it in there, get it lined up. It starts going down. I'll press down on it with a smooth object. In this case, the head of this, what used to be our Z end stop screw. And now we got a nice smooth surface. Kind of bled out over the track for the fan, but that's okay. I'll clean that up in a little bit. A pair of really thin tweezers can definitely help in this situation. You know, that's the only thing, the soldering iron I have here is not meant for this. Oh yeah, look at that. You can get it quick enough, you can push the plastic back into shape. That'll be fine. I can shave the rest of that down. Turn the soldering iron off. Move that away from me. It's just a, in case anybody's wondering what soldering iron I'm using, it's just a battery-powered Ryobi soldering iron from Home Depot. An old glass file. I think I brought this up in another video, or maybe earlier in this video. This is specifically made for Gundam model kits. I think these were actually originally made for fingernails, like at nail salons. They do a great job at wearing away plastic as long as you can get to it. I've got smaller glass files. Don't know where they're at right now though. You know what, while we're at it, maybe I can try to weld this crack back together while the soldering iron's still a little hot. Like it never even happened. One little crank on it again. All right, well, that's that. Time to get this all reassembled. All right, we'll see you back on the top side. I want to shout out the Eclectic Producer on YouTube. His channel is where I figured out how to do this. At least I got my start there for the Insanity Automation Firmware. After that, I used the Creality After Sale channel's video titled Service Tutorial Ender-6 Flash Firmware. I used that for my instructions on how to install this Insanity Automation firmware. It had been a long time since I've changed firmware on a printer, probably at least a year and a half. So a little bit of refreshing from a video never hurts. It never helps. So we're on the Insanity Automation firmware page. We're going to go to Firmware Projects. From there, we've got their legend. Gives us all of our keys that we need for what we want. And we've got a bunch of options here, a bunch of options. We're going to go down here to Bondtech Creality. There's different generations of firmware. I'm going to go with the most current, DW746. Scroll down. We do need one file up here. Y'all are going to want to grab this Bondtech Combined Landscape. That for the screen firmware. Alright, right, here we are at the Ender 6. Let me go back to the top here, went a little too far. All right, so starting here is where our options start. Again, I'm gonna go slow here. We're gonna go from top to bottom so y'all can see all the options here. I'll have this website linked in the description of the video. I'm also gonna link the Eclectic Producers channel, as well as the service tutorial video that I used. So if you're just running a bare bones, no BlTouch Ender 6, you're gonna need that screen firmware up top and this file right here, the Ender 6 DW 7.4.6 bin zip. I am going to go up a little bit to the BlTouch DW 7.4.6. I don't have any other modifiers that I'm currently using other than installing the BlTouch. So again, that's this guy right here. I've already got him downloaded. So here's the next big thing. I see a lot of people miss it, and I also got this from the Eclectic Producer. Thank you very much, dude. You're a lifesaver. You're gonna want an 8 GB micro SD card. I've seen people try a 32 GB, but they partitioned a section off of it to 8 GB. From what I could tell, it hasn't worked. So we're gonna format it here too. We want to have it in FAT32 at 4096 bytes. That's how we want it. So let's just do a quick format real quick. All right, let's jump back over to the machine. Another thing I can bring up right now real quick. A lot of people do this. You need a micro USB to USB, male to male. You plug it into the main board and you run it right through this slot right here. I actually need to do the longer one. This one's pretty short, but this is useful in case you do need to hook the printer up to a computer, because there's no actual USB port accessible outside of the printer body. Now let's go ahead and do our PID tune on the Hotend. We're going to go into Settings, Tools, PID. Again, I normally print at 250 with my ASA. We can do that. And take note of our current values. I'm just going to remember 1.2. Start. I don't know what it is about the firmware. Sometimes it does this. As soon as you click start, it says PID tune finished. But it's going. It's doing its thing. We just got to give it a little while. So I backed all the way out here real quick. We can see the temperatures going back up. And it'll start bouncing around 250. All right, it should be wrapping up here any minute now. The funny thing about the firmware saying PID finished as soon as you click it is sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes it does. I've got the same thing on a CR10 and the same thing on the other Ender 6 up there. This all seems to depend on the mood of the printer. There we go. There's the change. Then we're going to just store settings. And just to be sure, store settings up here. Go ahead and take a picture of that real quick because the store settings button doesn't seem to be working. Sometimes a restart helps, even though I've had this printer on and off. Go ahead and bring it up to just 220, my average PLA temperature. And if it did its job right, it should get to 220 pretty quick and then slow down right before it hits it. And then stay pretty steady on 220, maybe with a degree up or down, which is honestly already what it was doing before I did the PID tune, but I wanted to make sure. I'm probably going to run the PID tune again off camera, just because I didn't have the fans going, you know, the part cooling fans. All of that makes a difference. I typically like to have the nozzle pretty close to the bed with the bed warmed up as well, with the fans cooling however I'd normally cool them, to kind of simulate being near a printed part. Some people even go as far as to have filament pushing, or at least in the nozzle, while they PID tune. That's a step too far for my lazy butt. I'm not trying to clean up all that dribble. But yeah, see, we're right at 220 and moves every now and then, but other than that, it's good. All right, taking care of a few things off camera. It's time to do the Hot Titan. I've got the nozzle up to 270 degrees. Because I do plan on printing ASA with this machine, and I typically print that at 250. So let's go ahead and get a good grip on the heat block for there we go. That's all it takes. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or any questions, shoot them down in the comments below. Catch you later.